who you are and one thing that you've learned about Zoom.
Hi, my name is Shante R Roddy. I'm so happy to be here, by the way. I am the owner of She Boss Talk, which is a media marketing company for women leaders, entrepreneurs, and small business owners to help them increase their influence, their income, and their impact. Um, I consider myself a Zoom guru, so I don't know that I've learned anything new this week. I use it on a daily basis. But what I will say, it is an exceptional tool in a unprecedented time, right? Where we're all forced to like be at home and go virtual. It's a tool that I use every day that has really helped me in my business, and I know it will help you all in yours once you get around any technical challenges.
Technical challenges, what is that? None of us have any of those. And for those of you, I think I know everyone on this call, but I'm Debby Peters, and I am a partner with Greg in our business, which is third generation networking. And one thing that I learned about Zoom is what Kristin already stole from me, which is that we can have that third option on the breakout rooms where people can choose what room they want to go into, which makes it interesting. But I would now love to introduce Shante, you now know who she is, but let me tell you about how I know Shante. Shante was a member of the Rocky River Chamber of Commerce, of which I am a member, and I'm on the membership committee, which means we get to call new members and members at certain points in their membership time. And Shante was one of the people that I got to call, and I feel so lucky that I was assigned her because what I found was this woman who, I don't think you ever do anything less than over the top. And right away that day when we first met, I was like, wow, this woman is blowing me out of the water. She's making me look like I don't do anything. So it is my pleasure to introduce Shante. And today she's going to talk to us about all of the various relief programs, right from national on down to local, and even better, what she is going to tell us about when we get the answer no, because she doesn't take no for an answer. So take it away, Shante.
Yes, hi, thank you. I'm so happy to be here. And if I go over too long, Debbie, just give me some type of signal, whatever you need to.
We'll just mute you.
Like I mentioned that we're in unprecedented times where I don't know any small business or entrepreneur that has not been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. It is currently on the rise, and across the United States, where states are going on another shutdown, whether it's a partial shutdown or a full shutdown. And the reality is every small business has been impacted and impacted financially, especially minority and women businesses. Our businesses are often on the front line, but disproportionately, we've been impacted, and disproportionately, sometimes we're left out of the funding, or we don't know where to go to get the funding that is out there. What Why I am qualified to speak today is because when this pandemic hit, the CARES Act, which is now law, was rolled out back in March 27th, that provided a lot of relief for entrepreneurs and small business owners, no matter what stage of business that you're in. And I just took it upon myself to learn what the law was and see how I could get relief for my own business and how I can help other business owners get relief for their business. So I'm happy to be able to say that I've helped over 1,000 entrepreneurs and small businesses be able to get access to over $1 million in free funding. So there's a lot of funding, whether it's the grant programs that are out there, pitch competitions, or loan programs that are available. So I just want to walk through some of those and then go through some of the tips that I have that I would share with you to set you up for success. So you may have heard of the Paycheck Protection Program. A lot of businesses were left out of that. As of August, the program closed, but they closed with $130 billion still remaining in the program. So the CARES Act the benefits under the CARES Act program are soon to expire in December. But a lot of us are taking advantage of those benefits right now, and we're looking forward to the passing of the second stimulus, which we hope to be a comprehensive package. But we're waiting on Congress to negotiate, agree, and for the president to sign the next bill to provide relief. So some of the federal relief programs, like I said, are the Paycheck Protection Program, which is a forgivable loan, which a lot of people didn't know. They didn't know that they qualified for this particular program because they thought they had to have employees. So regardless if you have employees or not, there are programs that you can apply for and qualify for. Now that program was provided, and forgivable loan means that once you meet all the criteria, you submit your application, that becomes free money for your business. That is what a grant is. Grant is free money that never has to be paid back. That's the difference between a grant and a loan. If you take out a loan, you have payment terms in which you have to pay that money back. And a lot of times it comes with an interest payment. Another one of the programs is the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program, which was made available also for those that would not qualify for the regular or the traditional unemployment. Those of us that are gig workers, independent contractors, self-employed, small business, in which they not only added additional benefits, additional 13 weeks, but added the additional $600 a week for that program. And that expired back in July. So let me know again, if you've applied for PPP or pandemic unemployment, just let me know in the chat. If you've had any challenges with any of the programs, let me know in the chat, because I've been able to help a lot of entrepreneurs overcome challenges with these programs as well. They're out there, but that doesn't mean that they're always easy to get through, to apply for, or to overcome challenges if you were denied for any of the programs. Another big program is the EIDL program, which is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan and Advance Program, which provided a grant in addition to a loan. So the advance portion expired in July. So again, we're waiting on another stimulus package so that we can get that grant. There's still some of us waiting for the grant funding, and we want our full $10,000 grant. So if you apply for that program, do let me know in the comments as well, because that's something that we're still advocating and pushing for. The loan is still available right now. The grant is not. But a lot of entrepreneurs and small business owners were able to take advantage of the $1,000 to $10,000 grant, which was based on how many employees you had. But under the law, that should not have mattered. Everyone who applied and submitted a successful application was supposed to get the full $10,000. So those are programs, some of the programs at the federal level, like I said, that were made available, we're looking to have extended in the next go round. In addition to that, under the CARES Act, all of the states receive billions of dollars in funding. And a lot of this funding, a good portion of it, depending on the state, went to small businesses. So in Ohio, I don't know if all of you all are in Ohio, but Ohio just rolled out their big relief package. So it's not that these are the only ones, because they had an earlier grant program for minorities and women, but this one is the big one. This one is $462 million, of which I believe around $152 million is dedicated to small businesses to provide $10,000 grants. So I would encourage you, if you have not already applied for this program, to apply. But it's also important that you really review the terms, understand what makes you eligible for these programs. They always have them clearly outlined. But to apply for these grants that you are eligible for, that is a $10,000 grant. They also have one that is a $2,500 grant that goes to any businesses with a liquor permit that is in the state of Ohio. Okay, so all of these states, whether they rolled it out earlier on, they may have multiple rounds because they got more funding, or they just decided to roll it out in multiple rounds in the program, because they get a lot. These grants are highly competitive and they're time sensitive. So I want you to know it's important that you apply, but understand that it's competitive and time sensitive. So you definitely want to make sure that you're intentional and proactive and getting money, free money for your business a priority. Okay, so the CARES Act funding allows money for that. So even with this Ohio program, that is not just limited to your business. They have rent relief, mortgage relief, utility relief. Some have child care relief, car payment relief, and food benefits like SNAP to really be able to help you. Because yes, we're entrepreneurs and business owners, but we have livelihoods. We have families we're trying to take care of, right, that are outside of our business. So these benefits are available to you. They may also be available at the county and city level. So there's grants all over the place, federal, state, county, city, and nationwide grants. There's a lot of billion-dollar companies that have put out grant programs, have partnered together to launch grant programs to benefit your business, no matter what type of business that you have. More recently, many have rolled out programs for minority businesses and women-owned businesses. Some of them have been PayPal. Facebook rolled out 2 or 3, one of which I recently applied for, that was for Black-owned businesses. They had one earlier in the year that was for small businesses in the regions in which they have had operations in. Hennessy is another one, that is the spirits company. Walmart and Lowe's both launched pitch competitions. So they gave you an opportunity to get your product on the shelf. So I don't know if there's any product producers here, but these are great opportunities. So even if you're a startup or a new business, there are opportunities here for you, because the government and companies, foundations, they want new ideas, whether it's to help solve the problem of the pandemic, racial or equality, or provide more equitable space for women in business. There are so many opportunities to get free funding just for your idea. There's a solution that you bring to the market that someone is waiting for. And so we've seen that a lot of companies have been able to pivot their business during this time, and they've been able to really be lucrative, especially with the PPE equipment. We know that there's a big call for like all of these masks. So I know business owners who they made clothing, right? So their business was struggling and they decided to pivot and just start producing more masks, because we saw that there was a real need for that. So the monies are out there, but you're probably like, okay, where do I find them, right? So I told you the state, right? There, the federal government, national programs. Well, because I found that there was such a challenge with business owners understanding where to go, I created a relief and grant tracker, which is free. It's on my website at www.shebosstalk.com, and I'll make sure my information is in the chat. But I update this list every week with new grant opportunities, new pitch opportunities, scholarship opportunities, all types of opportunities to get you free funding for your business. Because I know that it's sometimes difficult to find out where to go get these grants. So that is available for you. It's updated on a weekly basis. People ask me, okay, so now I researched the grant, how do I apply? You know, under normal circumstances, you know, usually you apply, it's a lengthy process. You have to submit a proposal, maybe hire a grant writer. Whenever have you seen for-profit businesses being able to get grants like this? I don't recall ever. Usually they're available for nonprofits, but we're in unprecedented times, which means there are unprecedented opportunities to get money. There is going to be, it's already flooding in, but there's going to be a bigger flood of money coming to small businesses. So I want to make sure that you're aware, that you have your antennas up, and that you know what to do to apply. So I created a winning grant application cheat sheet and checklist to help you. So once you use our tracker to start your search for the grant, you find it and you're like, okay, how do I apply? How do I make sure that I'm meeting the eligibility, that I'm submitting the right information, that I'm standing out, right? That I write a compelling story, because understand each and every one of you all have a story. You should not be ashamed. You should not be shy about it. You should use that to your advantage when you're applying for these grant opportunities to get free money. That is what is going to make you stand out and increase your chances of winning and be awarded these grants. And I mean, there's all types of grants from 500,000 or 500 to 500,000. It just depends on the grant, right? But I'm sure each of you could use money in your business. Now, these grants are strictly for your business. I always have to tell people that because sometimes people are not aware, but some are more restrictive than others. Some are just like, we just want to help you do what you want, use it in your business as you want. Others may say, okay, you have to use it. For an example, I applied for a grant locally here. So they wanted the dollars used here, right? So I partnered with other women-owned businesses here to provide some business development training, hiring here locally. That was a requirement of this particular grant. But some may be more strict and some may be more flexible. But at the end of the day, it's more money for your business. So whether you need more marketing, you close temporarily, you need to reopen, you need new equipment, you need to hire new staff, whatever it is, there is money out there for you to be able to get to. Now, what I want to explain is, I said you need to set your intention and be proactive. So that means you need to make it your job to get money. I have made it my job every day to get free money for my business. I encourage you all to do that. Okay. So I'm doing the heavy lifting. I'm giving you the tools to help make the process easier for you. Now, if you're applying, you have to show up with confidence. And you have to know that you're qualified. Why do I say this? Because so many have been left out because you just simply didn't think to apply, right? You didn't even know this was possible, or you don't think you're qualified. And you're like, oh no, how could I possibly get a grant for my business? Oh, all these other people are applying. There's no way I could get a grant. If you do not show up with that mindset, you have to have a mindset that you are qualified, that you are the person that deserves this grant, because you do. And if you apply and you don't think you're going to get it, you're not. Okay. And then know that even if you don't win a grant, you're not going to win all the grants, but you can increase your chances of winning a grant because there's a grant with your name on it. I applied for a grant. It was a PayPal grant. And I didn't find out till after I won that over 16,000 businesses applied. And that grant wasn't easy. I was initially denied. I was denied that grant and then won it, okay? Because there was an error on their part. But sometimes I hear entrepreneurs say, oh, they denied me. Oh, well, maybe next time. No, you have to advocate. That's my next point, advocating for yourself. You cannot accept no for an answer. And I've seen a lot of people, even with the EIDL program, oh, they denied me. Did you know that there's appeal process for all of these, for these different programs? Even the federal relief programs, EIDL, they have a reconsideration process. So instead of just throwing your hands up and saying, oh, I didn't get it, you fight for it. You have to fight for it. Understand that some of these grants may come easy, but more times than not, things do not come easy. You have to really fight for what you want. You have to be persistent and you have to be resilient. When I applied for EIDL, I fought for it. I mean, and it was stressful. And you want to give up sometimes, but you can't. You can't let the system stop you from what you want and what you deserve. So I fought and I submitted my reconsideration, submitted my paperwork, followed up. And if you don't get answers, go to the next level. Okay. And so when I kept going, I felt like I was on a spinning wheel. Then I reached out to Congress. We have representatives that are in position to serve our best interests. And you have power as small business owners to make sure that they're doing what's in your best interest and the best interest of your peers here. And so I encourage you to reach out to Congress. I call, and I will call as many times as I need to call, email as many times and many people I need to call to get answers so that I can move to the next step in the process. So I would encourage you all to do the same. Similar to the pandemic unemployment, there were a lot of challenge with that program as well. So you have to keep calling. You have to email. If you have to go to the news, go to the news. Right? Go to the news. That's how you get action, because you have to keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing. until there's nothing else that you can do. The PPP program was denying people, right? So, and then people didn't know that, well, I could apply to another lender. You could apply to another lender. If you were denied one place, you applied to another lender, they were approving, right? So if you had given up, you would have missed out on that opportunity. So I want to say, advocate for yourself. The next thing is network. Your network is your net worth. So opportunities like this, being part of a network, a support system, has really helped me, and it's helped the people that I've been able to help because they were tied into the network of support. Too many times we operate in isolation and we don't reach out for help. You can't do this alone, even if we weren't in a pandemic. Now we're in a pandemic and you're gonna drown. So you have to have a support system, a network where, like here, where Debbie is sharing her connection with me and the resources that I have. So now I'm sharing them with you, information that you may not have had I not shown up here. So networking is so important. I find out about a lot of opportunities first because I'm part of networks. I'm on email lists of associations and organizations like the Chamber of Commerce, right? Of the Women Business Center, of the Urban League. I'm connected. I'm linked in. So when they have new grants that come out, or they know about a grant that comes out, guess what? I'm one of the first ones to know. You want to be the first and not the last. Because by the time you find out if you're the last, then the application period is probably over, right? And so then the last thing that I want to say is that's going to be really key is paying it forward. Paying it forward. So now you've gained new information, new insights on what actions you can take in your business to get funding. It is so important, if we want to rise and thrive during this time as small business owners and entrepreneurs, that we help each other. So you have to pay it forward, whether that's sharing this recording, telling someone about the resources I have, letting them know about the programs you just learned about, because there are literally millions of entrepreneurs and small business owners still struggling right now. They're still closed right now. They still don't know where to get funding right now. So take the opportunity to pay it forward, and whatever, send an email, pick up the phone, make a phone call to your peers and let them know that there are opportunities out there and that you don't want them to miss out on it. That is going to be so important as well, because again, we're all in this together. Again, like I said, the money is out there. There will be more of it to come. Just do your research, use the resources and tools that I mentioned today. I'll make sure they're in the chat. And use that as the initial start. Don't stop there. Again, continue to be proactive in your business and seeking out this funding. But again, more of it is to come. And I look forward to each of you getting one, because again, there's a grant with your name on it. And I want to hear the testimonial. So do share it with Debbie and come back to me and share it with me. And I'll be happy to share it with my network as well. Thank you so much.
Okay, Shante, I'm sure we have questions, and I will start with one that Walisha put right into the chat box. She said, I was denied so many of these grants you spoke about. Many of them want innovations or inventions. Do you have any comments for that?
Yeah, so there's all types of grants. Again, it depends on what grant that you're applying for. There's some that do, they want innovation, new ideas. There's other ones that are relief grants, right? Specifically for COVID. There are some that are, racial equity grants, some that are specifically for women, some that are specifically for minorities. But there is a grant out there for you. So what will help you is the grant tracker, because literally, I have hundreds of grants on there. And so I would encourage you to use that tracker, go through the list. There's all types of grants out there, and there's one for you.
Is the Ohio program still open?
Yes.
The most recent one.
Yes. So with the Ohio program, here's one thing where advocacy comes into play. So in reading the eligibility requirements is so important for these grants, because most times than not, the number one reason people don't get awarded grants is simply because they don't follow instructions. That's a big tip right there. simply because you don't follow instructions. You're eliminated. Okay, so following instructions is important. With this particular program, they said you had to have at least 1 to 25, I believe, or 50 employees, meaning W-2 employees. They're not the same as 1099s. And I know a lot of us don't have W-2 employees, but we have 1099 workers. And we've been left out of a lot of the funding. That's where advocacy comes in, right? So what I did was, one of my peers came to me because he continues to be left out. He has 2 barbershops and he has 1099 workers and has been left out. So I told him, let's do a panel talk on this. And I said, he's well connected to news sources. I said, who is a news source you know? Let's get in the news. We need to let at every level, city, county, and state, know that our businesses matter too. We've just been just as impacted as businesses that have employees. This goes for non-brick and mortar. So a lot of grants go toward, they say you have to have a brick and mortar business. Okay, but what about me? I'm a virtual business, but I still have needs as well. I've still been impacted. My events were canceled. I lost clients, right? And so how many of you can relate to that? So, we want to make sure it's equitable, that all businesses that have been impacted gets access to these opportunities. So you have to advocate, make your voice heard, make the calls and emails you need to make, go to the news if you have to. That's how you're able to get action. Okay.
Shante, tell us about the one grant that you applied for that the criteria was changed after you applied, about physical location.
Hennessy, I don't, do you know my personal story, whoever that is?
That's Debby.
Okay, well, Hennessy, I applied for a Hennessy grant. They partnered with 3 organizations that gave grants out to minority businesses. I applied for this grant. And midway through the grant, after I had already applied, after they pushed me to the next step. So understand that these grants may have multiple steps. Once I went to the next step, it's kind of like froze. Then they changed the rules. They changed the rules midway after I had applied and I was already in the pool to be approved. And they said at that point, this is for brick and mortar. So I say in everything as a business owner, document. That includes the grants that you're applying for. I keep a tracker of every grant that I applied for, who it was with, the dates, what the status is. They changed it and then they just stopped emailing. So we didn't know, they confused everybody. We didn't know if we were still in the running or if they were saying because we weren't brick and mortar, we weren't going to get it. So I emailed the director and got my peers together because I helped my peers apply and we were all in the running to win it. But we were so confused by the process. So I had to engage the director. I actually had to go to I went to Twitter. So that's why I say you have to do what you have to do. We went to Twitter. We did a Twitter campaign to let them know that, what they were doing was not fair. If you change the rules, you cannot change the rules, then disqualify people that followed the rules when you first initiated it. Right? So that's an example of how it may not come easy. A lot of these grant programs, even states have changed the rules because they initially had it so restricted that it limited the pool of small business owners. But it wasn't until people started advocating, calling, emailing, that they said, oh, wow, we're leaving out businesses and these businesses that we want to help are not applying. So we're going to release some of the restrictions. We're going to open it up to a bigger pool of small business owners, because there are grant programs that are struggling to find business owners to apply. They can't find you, right? They're doing campaigns to find small business owners. But that's just an example of how they might switch the rules. And you have to speak up for yourself if that happens to you.
Thank you. All right. Who has questions now that they would like to ask? We have several nonprofits on the call. Is there anything new in the nonprofit sector for these reliefs?
Okay, so for nonprofits, I get a lot of, I have a lot of people telling me, like, where are the grants for nonprofits? I'm like, where are you? Like, there's always been several grants for nonprofits. There have not always been grants for for-profits. And I'm just like, but one of the differences is whether you're a for-profit or nonprofit business is that the process is easier, right? So yes, there's still grants that you have to hire, write along a lengthy proposal, or maybe hire a grant writer if that's not your thing, you're not skilled in that area. But there are so many grants, you don't even have to do that right now. The same relief programs, same grant opportunities I just mentioned include nonprofits where, listen, there has never been a time where getting a grant has been made this easy. I won grant to apply, it took me less than 5 minutes. So once you get organized, you make sure you have your business in order. That is so important. Get it organized so that when these grants come along, you're already ready. You already know what needs to be submitted, and you're quick to get it in. But it's so easy. I think the longest I've taken to fill out a grant application was an hour. And that one had a video. So some may require you to get on video. That's another thing. Let me not forget. I've had people say that they weren't going to apply because they had to get on video. Is it worth $10,000, $15,000, $25,000 for you to get on video for 60 seconds to 5 minutes to tell your story? Do it. Do it scared. It's like anything in business. I'm not comfortable every time I go live and do a recording. I feel like, oh, somebody's judging me, but I focus on my story and what I'm passionate about and how I've been impacted by the pandemic and how I'm impacting others. Again, it's another way to share your story, a compelling story. And when people connect with you and your face and your expressions, they connect with you. So even outside of what you write, they're like, oh, I really like this person. Right? I think she deserves this grant. You don't want to give them any opportunity to say you don't deserve a grant opportunity. Get on video. Rehearse it. Use Zoom. If that's a tip, use Zoom. Because you can do it over and over and over and over and over and rewatch it. And then choose the one that you want to submit.
All right. What other questions do we have? I know Walisha also said she had a question about a grant tracker. Let me see if I can find it. Do you use a paid grant tracker? I was skeptical about using one.
I use a paid grant tracker.
Pardon me?
No, I do not. I created one. But you can, grants.gov is an option to seek out grants. There's certain requirements that you need to fulfill if you want to apply for grants at the federal level, just like contracting at the federal level, which is the federal government, right? So grants.gov, grantswatch.org is a good one. Those are good places to seek out grants. I think grants.org is paid. But like I said, I would start, my grant tracker is a free tool. These are grants that are right now available for relief. Now, the grants you apply for through those, like grants.gov, those require more complex process. These, what I'm speaking to, are easy, right? Are easier. And is well within your capabilities to apply for these. You don't need to, oh my God, I don't know how to write. I can't get a grant writer, because the cheat sheet, I'm telling you everything I did to win the grant and what others that I've helped to win grants did. Because people ask me, do I write grants, or can I apply for them? It would be too much money if I was to do that. So I just put all my knowledge in the cheat sheet for you. Now the cheat sheet is $47, but it's worth it to get 5,000, 10,000 or more for your business.
So we have a couple financial planners, and I think I may be talking out of school, but I'm guessing that you're an independent contractor. Is that right, Lionel? And Michelle, I don't know about you. Where are you, Michelle? Independent contractors, financial planners. So is there anything different about them besides being an independent contractor?
Okay, this is what I would recommend for you if you have not done it already for independent contractors. If you are in the real estate business, I don't care what business that you're in. As an independent contractor, you're a business owner. You're independent, right? So you are the CEO of your business, meaning I will highly recommend that you structure your business. So although some of the relief programs like PPP, EIDL, they didn't require you to have like your EIN. They didn't make you have a legal structure for your business, right? You could be a sole proprietor, but I would take the steps to formalize your business legally and register it as in the state of Ohio or whatever state that you're in, so that you are recognized as a business. Because so many times, if they cannot verify that you have a legitimate business, you will not get the grant. Because like I said, there may be multiple steps. You get through one step, you're like, oh my goodness. You get to the next step where they need to verify your business, and that's where so many people again get weeded out. They lose it because they did not have the business structure in place, including your documentation, your financials. Those are all things I go over in the cheat sheet to make sure that you're set up for success. But if I could give you any tip, so there are grants that you can get as an independent contractor, but you're limiting the opportunities by not structuring your business and registering in your state.
Okay. Any other questions that have come up during this time?
Can you show of hands who has applied for the federal relief programs? Did you get any funding? Okay. Which programs did you apply for? PPP?
We got PPP money.
Did you apply for EIDL as well? No.
Mm-hmm.
Did you need the pandemic unemployment?
We actually hired somebody to do the application for us. I wasn't involved in it.
Okay.
Yeah. But we got the money.
Okay, good. Have you gone through the forgiveness process yet?
They're working on that too, on the documentation now. But like I said, we hired somebody to do it.
Someone else to do it. Okay, good. Mm-hmm. But not everybody has people that they can hire out.
Right.
So I want to let you all know that right now, if you were funded PPP and you received $50,000 or less in funding and you spent it, so you have 8 to 24 weeks to spend your funds. So once you spent that, then you can submit forgiveness. They simplified the form. There's been so many changes with that program. I understand it's even confusing for the banking institutions. That's why they are pushing. That's why, first of all, they're not pushing you to submit your forgiveness applications. They're actually pushing to have automatic forgiveness for anyone that received under 150,000 or less. That has not happened yet, but what they have done was streamline the form for anyone that has 50,000 or less to make it super easy for you to submit your application for forgiveness to your lender. Now, if your lender don't know about the form, you need to let them know about the form. And I believe it's form 3508S. It's a one-page self-certified, no documents need to be sent or uploaded anywhere. But again, you can't assume the lenders know everything about the program because things have been changing like almost on a weekly basis. So, bear with your lender because it's burdensome for them, and it's burdensome for a lot of small business owners to try to navigate the forgiveness process, and we're trying to make it easier for you.
Kristin, you had a question?
No, I was just going to say we applied for the PPP as well, and by the time we did the EIDL, it was in the form of a loan. All of the grant money was gone, so we turned that down because we didn't take the loan out. But I do have another question. We had somebody call the office today in search of the Ohio relief package.
Yes.
And he's really struggling to apply for that. And he says that it's confusing to him. He says he's been in business for 50 years. Sometimes we get phone calls. He's not a member of the chamber, but he's just looking for assistance. And he's been in business for 50 years, which tells me that he's struggling through this process. Is there something on the Ohio website that, that gives you sort of step by step for people that maybe this is totally foreign to some people. Is there a place that I can send him on the Ohio website? He still has to do it himself.
Right.
But is there help or something like that?
Well, it depends on what he's struggling. I don't know what he's struggling with. But I know, because I went on there, I knew about it way in advance, and I told people about it, and I read through it, right? So they're very clear about like all the terms and going through the process. Now, one thing that was new is you had to create an ID, like an Ohio ID, and they give instructions on how to do that, because you had to have that Ohio ID number to actually start your application. Now, there was a lot of challenges with actually getting to the application because, again, there were so many people applying at once. It crashed almost immediately. And so, again, that goes back into, you got to persevere. If it crashed, then you got to go back, and you go back, keep going back until you get through. So some people, I think it maybe took me an hour. I kept just retrying. I got back in an hour. Some people it took hours. Some people it took days to get through, but you have to just keep trying to get through. I don't know if it's an issue of if he's not technical as far as the computer and he needs somebody to actually walk him through the steps, or if it's him understanding, like if they're asking for a particular document, which is, people don't understand, again, because they may not have that business acumen. So are they asking for payroll statements? And he's like, okay, I never, really notated my payroll. I don't really use a system. Maybe he's on a paper method. I don't know. So I would get a clear understanding of what his actual problem is with filling out the application, and then I could provide more guidance on that. But they give you like a lot of instruction on the website.
Okay.
Yeah, Kristin, I also just applied for that and found the process to be super easy. There's like 4 or 5 choices with each of the requirements. And at first that might be overwhelming, but just knowing that they need to choose one, and it might just be technology, like Shante said.
Yeah.
So I found the process really easy.
Okay.
But I did.
That's for the Ohio, the new, he kept saying, Lieutenant Governor John Husted told me that there's money there. That's what he kept saying.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you need the website? I can put the website in the chat.
How do we do that? That would be great, Shante.
Yes. Has anyone else applied for the Ohio grant?
I applied and I also thought it was pretty easy. I have a unique situation. I'm also 1099 independent contractor but have employees that I pay through a third-party vendor. So one tidbit I was going to mention for anyone that's independent contractor, maybe talk to the company you contract with and ask them to write something up. I know American Family sent a really nice letter out that basically, notated that we were independent contractors, and then our I cannot think of what it's called, but the employer group I pay my employees through also sent us a letter with all of the information that we needed, showing that we paid our employees, so that there was no confusion as to they're still my employee. I just pay them through this vendor. So I applied for the Ohio grant. I got an email back that said I was approved, but then I got a second email that said I didn't do something, but I think it was probably just like an automatic generated email because I had done what they had said. So we'll see. I haven't got the check yet.
Okay, but follow up on that, because like I said, when I applied for PayPal, they declined me in the middle. That was devastating, and I didn't accept that because I knew ahead of time there was a system error that was sending out those types of emails. And then I was waiting by my computer at midnight, and I saw the decline come across my screen, and I couldn't sleep that night. I'm like, okay, what's my next step? Because I'm not losing out on this grant. So
yeah, I'll have to call.
I just monitor that because, just to be sure.
One other thing I wanted to mention, to me, it's so much uncertainty. So I've tried to surround myself with a lot of people who know what's going on, because I feel like I have no clue what's going on in terms of all of these. And you're right, Shante, it's a total wake up call. It is my job to find money for myself. It is not someone else's job. But my accountant has been instrumental I used to just delete his newsletter emails, and now I read every single line to find out what's going on. So yeah, my account has been huge in notifying us. So I would either check with your accountant or find someone who will help you through that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So whether it's your accountant or you have a coach or mentor, whatever, whoever is in your network, if you're on an email list, so you know, this is a time to be on email lists. I mean, I've always been on, but some people like disregard them. But they've been sharing so much information that people are like, I didn't know that was going on. I didn't know even this pitch competition I'm going to apply for through the Urban League. So again, a lot of these associations, if you're on their list, look at them, because then you'll be the first to know when these programs come out, or assistance, or I think one they had rolled out in partnership with one of the grants I applied for to provide free PPE equipment. I mean, so there's all types of, whether it's funding or resources that you need to, there's so many people trying to help small business right now, even down to providing you with mentorship, which a lot of times we lack, coaching, you know, there's incubators, accelerator programs, mentorship programs that include grants. So these are just examples of the many different opportunities to get funding or get help in your business, just to know that you don't have to go it alone, that there are actually people, organizations, and companies, and your government, right, that want to help you be successful. Because the bottom line is you can't have a recovering economy without small business. So there's a lot of talk about the economy and this and that and robust. If small business dies, the economy is dead. So we can't lose our small businesses, and we need to, the ones that have closed, which have been too many of them, we need to find ways to get them reopened again.
Shante, you had sent a couple of the links and
Yes.
they came to me privately. So you might want to
did
send
they?
them again to everyone, because I had sent you a message privately. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Thanks.
Diane's hogging all the information, right?
Well, I don't want to. I want to share.
Okay.
Nina Corder, do you have anything to add or question for Shante? Because of course you're pretty well versed in getting grants, but maybe you have something to share also.
Oh, no, I think Shante did a very good job, you know, and she's right on point. I totally agree every second thing that she said. Like when she mentioned about grants getting denied, we noticed that if you don't answer the question they ask, you're literally not. And if they say 3 pages, you want to do 3 pages. You don't want to do more than that. So, you know, I'm in a nonprofit world, but I also see a lot of women-owned business, you know, grants. And then we have a group that we share it too. So I love to connect with Shante further to talk more about nonprofit opportunity. Yeah, thank you.
So Shante, you put your the SheBoss grant tracker in there, and that is the one that is no charge, right?
That's right. That has the list of grants, pitch competitions, scholarships, all opportunities for free money that I update on a weekly basis. It has national, it has the federal relief programs, and state. I do not have city and county because there's too many of them. But in the tracker, there are tips on what to do, where to look for those local grant opportunities, because that's where the big money is locally right now. And if they don't have a program, they will, because they have to use the money before the end of December. The CARES Act, the benefits under the CARES Act program are set to end at the end of December. That's why we need a new stimulus, right? So, but that's why you can expect more money to be coming forward.
And then additionally, your piece of information, the $47 one, did you put that in there? And tell us what that had? That helps us to fill out the grants, right?
Yes, it helps you to actually apply. So you've done the research, right? And you want to know, how do I apply to increase my chances of winning? What do I need when I submit this grant application? What type of questions they're going to ask? How do I write a compelling story? That's where a lot of people get stuck. they're like, well, what do I write? So I know what questions and what they may ask. Like, they want to know, what are you going to do with the money? Or do you know what you're going to do with the money? If you cannot clearly and concisely let them know what you're going to use the money for, you're going to be out of the running, right? So you don't want to go into an application of any kind, whether you're a for-profit or a nonprofit business, blindly, not knowing what to expect when you apply. Because, I hear so many people saying, I've applied, and I was denied. Okay. If it's simple, something as simple as what she said, they asked for 3 pages and you gave them 5, or they asked you for a 1-minute video and you gave them a 10-minute video, that tells them that you do not read, you cannot follow instructions, and that does not look good on your application. So just keep that in mind when you are applying for your grant opportunities.
So you mentioned earlier about partnering. You went in for a grant and then you had to partner with some other businesses. Take us through that process, how you decide to do that.
No, I don't think I partnered. I didn't partner.
Oh, okay.
Wait. If you're talking about when we
were
advocating for ourselves, when the process for the Hennessy grant was so confusing, and we thought that they could potentially say that we weren't going to qualify because they changed the rules. So that one?
No, the one where someone was making clothing, but then they decided you got a grant and then you had to partner for training of some sort.
Yes. So that was a requirement of the grant I got from a church. So you can find grants in a number of different areas, right? So a local church had a grant program that I applied for and won it, and they wanted me to use it locally, right? And so I decided to partner with a fellow business owner, woman-owned business, who has a boutique and event center, and she also has a business development program where she trains entrepreneurs, right? And I gave her a grant and partnered with her on her program.
Okay.
So, there are so many ways that you can use grant money, or just to stimulate your own economy, right? Even without grant money, I always recommend collaborations and partnerships. Everybody should be finding a way to collaborate and partner with someone else, because you're sharing in the risk and the rewards. You're able to spread the wealth. That has helped me be so successful, is by collaborating with many like-minded, goal-centered entrepreneurs and business owners that I can, and especially women.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Any other questions or comments? Because I'm going to come back to you, and Shante has given us so much of her time and so much of her knowledge. I would love to go back through to each one of you and have you share one thing that was really helpful that Shante shared today, if you don't have any more questions. But I want to make sure that we've got all our questions out of the way. Melanie.
I do have a question on the Ohio Small Business Relief Grant. There's also a sub grant for the Bar and Restaurant Assistance Fund. I have some restaurant clients, and one client had told me, I asked if she applied for this. She said she did. She only applied for the Bar and Restaurant Assistance Grant, which is much smaller than the 10,000. I think it's 1,000 or 1,500. Do you know, can they apply for both?
Yeah, so that's a good question. They should apply for both. The $2,500 one is specifically for restaurants. That does not mean that that's the only one that they can get. Okay. That's pretty automatic, because the state has a record of every business with a liquor license. So basically, if they have a liquor license, they're going to get it, unless there's some other issue impacting that. But they should definitely apply for the $10,000 grant. If they meet the eligibility requirements, they should get it. But again, with all of these grants, don't stop at the submission of the application. You must follow up and follow through to the end until you have the deposit. And please, please do not change any of your business information, including your bank account, before you have a deposit. I've seen people do it, and they were awarded and they lost it. because they send whatever, remember everything you submitted on your grant application. If you told them it was for one business, don't change it and change the name and all that, and then go change your bank account. Don't change anything while you're applying for all of these grants.
Okay. All right. Let's start with Kristin. Kristin, what was one thing that was helpful to you?
I think that, I mean, everything was helpful. And I'm just, the part that, you know, getting this deluge of information constantly, like we are all getting, I mean, we're seeing it on, you know, the news and everybody's talking about it and everything. And it's hard to, we always say here, it's like a fire hose, drinking from a fire hose, right? But I love, what you're saying, and the passion for it is that you just need to spend some time on it and you need to weed through everything. So there is a lot of information coming your way. But I think that the message that you're saying is going through it, and there's something there for you, no matter what your business is. But you need to spend some time on it. You can't just throw your hands in the air and be like, well, I can't do this. It's too much.
Right.
So thank you for that. It's reinvigorated me to get that message out to our members here too, and for us to revisit it. Thank you for everything.
You're welcome.
Lionel, what about you? Lionel, you're next.
I think it was excellent, great information. A lot of it was just the fact that there's so much out there that I wasn't aware of. And so I appreciate you sharing that information. And now I feel like I have a direction where to start and to look, and then be able to share that with my clients and other coworkers or folks in the nonprofit space as well. So I just appreciate it.
Thank you, Lionel. Diane, what about you?
Yeah, I think for me, it's knowing that there's so many options out there. So I'll be digging in.
Great. Well, Alicia.
I think it would be the free grant tracker that she posted the link to. I'll definitely check that out.
Great. Thank you, Alicia. Greg, do you have a comment?
Yeah, actually, I liked what you said about the to get the forgiveness for the PPP, how they're trying to simplify that whole process, which I know that our boss is going to love hearing about that.
All right, Carrie, what about you?
I'm just amazed at how much out there that I didn't know about, so much more. And you drove it in that I need to follow up and follow through.
Mm-hmm. Don't take no for an answer.
Yeah.
Melanie, what about you?
Yeah, so I'm wowed by your resources. I clicked the link and went to your website, and you have amazing information there, everything nice and in one area, so we're not going to different websites. So that's wonderful. Thank you. I'm also excited to hear about the simplified PPP. I've heard that that's the case, and my bank did like a 2-hour Zoom call, and I just didn't have the time to fit that in. And I keep thinking I need to go back. And my financial person keeps asking me, have you done that? And that's actually my husband. And I said, I think it's actually delayed, so I'm good. But then you keep wondering if you're missing something, right? So I'm really excited too to go to my network and my clients and share this information too, because I want to make sure that they get all the funding that they need. So this information that you've provided is really valuable.
Great. Nina.
Man, I love your attitude and your tenacity. I just want you to come and join my team. No, I'm just kidding. I write grant for the organization. I have 7 grant I'm working on this month. I just finished 6 grant last month and awarded 4. So it's just that tenacity attitude that you have to. And the best thing is I'm doing it for the organization. To have you doing it for other businesses and your network group, that is just amazing. It's just amazing. So yeah, congrats. And this is all great information. If I can have another half of your energy, I think I'd be awesome at grant writing and find more grants.
Yeah. My statement is Shante takes no prisoners. She just gets it. All right, Monica.
I was going to say exactly what Melanie and Nina said. You know, the links that you sent to your tracker are fantastic, but I think what I really got out of this was your energy and just, this was exactly how I needed to start my Monday morning. So I appreciate you giving us information, but more importantly, keeping such a positive attitude in a time where it's easy to be negative.
Great. Thank you, Monica. And finally, Michelle.
I would like to say thank you so much. That was amazing. I had no idea there was such a variety of grants that you could do. And it's very helpful to know that if I get questioned or if I have clients a question, I know where to send them now.
Yeah, that's great. I have one last question, Shante, and that was, how did you find out about the church grant that you were awarded?
Networking.
Networking.
So I found out about this particular grant through a Facebook networking group. So that's another key thing. Networking comes in a number of forms. And I know a lot of people are in Facebook groups and they don't really use them and engage. And I engage in the groups that I'm in. And one of the members of just dropped information and said that they were looking. I told you there are organizations looking for you to give you money, looking to give you money. I mean, isn't that exciting? And yes. I was one of the only ones. I think I'm the only one that even commented, and I was one of the few to react. But that didn't even matter. What mattered was I took action on the information, and I didn't delay. Do not delay and procrastinate. I've seen so many people do it. I acted fast on that information. I think I applied that same day.
And how long did it take you to write the application?
30 minutes.
And do you mind sharing with us the amount that you received?
That one was $3,000.
So 30 minutes for $3,000. Is it worth it? Yeah. Okay. Shante, thank you. I can't tell you how much this means to me to be able to share you with all my friends. And especially that you're so generous in sharing your tracker. I love that. And do you mind putting your contact information, or is that already in there? I didn't look at the whole thing.
It's there.
Okay.
I had my website as well.
It's in there.
I have a message that I didn't even see. I'm gonna have to download. If you don't know how to download the files, the chats, you can download them individually. So
right,
that's a key.
Right. So thank you everyone for coming today. I really appreciate your attendance. Hopefully we'll see you again in the future. We're going to continue to do our Zoom lunches until probably at least somewhat through the first quarter. But if you have any questions or thoughts about this, you can reach out to me, and you can see that Shante has put her information into the chat box. We'll save the chat box and in case someone wants it also, but we'll also have a recording, which Greg will get ready for us. Right, Greg? And so if you have someone that you might want to send it to, we'll have that for you also. So thank you for being here. Have a great afternoon, and we'll see you soon. Bye.